BeamNG version 0.30 has just been released, and apart from the widely announced new features and additions, this update contains some major changes that barely anyone is talking about. In this video, we are going to take a look at exactly these things though, and stay tuned. One of them is about to revolutionize BeamNG forever. Let's start with something that has actually been in the game for a while now, but just received a huge update in 0.30, the career mode. Although it says coming soon, you can access the work-in-progress version of the career mode by spam clicking the career mode icon in the main menu 6 times. Be warned though, this is still very unstable and not finished yet, so you will lose your progress in future updates, some missions may be too difficult to complete, and controllers are not fully supported yet. But let's get started. First you need to create a profile. At the moment you can actually create multiple, but I'm not sure if this will remain the case in the full version. The first change that you perhaps notice, compared to previous versions of the career mode, is that there is a tutorial now. It teaches you the basics of controls and how career mode progression works. Keeping it short, you have to complete various missions, and at the end of each mission, you will receive Beam experience points and credits, also known as Beambucks, which you can use to purchase, upgrade, refuel or repair vehicles. There are different branches, and the progression is individual for each. So if you just want to focus on motorsports, you can play more missions in the motorsports category. There's no need to play all branches. This progression system is similar to Forza Horizons, and I have to say, I really like that. But what's new in 0.30? As already mentioned, there's now a tutorial and you can use the credits to buy and upgrade vehicles. Both features were previously not implemented. If you want to try out a vehicle before buying it, you can take it for a test drive for up to 2 minutes. This is quite a nice feature in my opinion. In this regard, all car dealerships on the West Coast map have received a small update, and they added a new dealership called Quarry Site near, you guessed it, the quarry. You now also must pay for any damage to your car, which greatly increases immersion and realism. However, what gives me most hope above all is the existence of insurance and taxes in this game mode. I know it may sound strange to go crazy about having to pay taxes in a game, but no other driving game has ever had an advanced financial system. If the developers manage to combine great physics and gameplay with an at least somewhat advanced economic management system, this career mode will turn out one, if not the best ever seen in a car game, and it has an enormous potential to make BeamNG a lot more popular. For me, this truly is a dream come true. This is everything I've ever wanted from a career mode in a game, and now it has become reality. One last thing I'd like to mention is that you can now open a logbook by pressing escape on your keyboard. Here you can see some general information, statistics, and even milestones you reached. It's a pretty neat feature in my opinion. Now let's move on to the second change. It's no secret that a steel factory has been added to the West Coast map. But did you know that there's a complex tunnel system underground? You can enter it either from the factory itself or from the canal to which the tunnels lead. It's incredibly detailed and fun to explore. But there's another hidden location on this map, the parking garage in the police department. The police department has been expanded and now features a huge 3-story car park. It's still under construction, but since it looks almost finished, we can assume that it will be made accessible soon. BeamNG is undoubtedly the most detailed driving game out there, but the developers keep adding new details. Just listen to these sounds. If you're not familiar with these cracking noises, let me explain them briefly. The exhaust and engine block expand due to the heat when driving, and when you turn off the engine, the metal shrinks back to its normal size and creates those cracking noises. This addition might not be the most spectacular one, but we've got a total of 6 new street scene configurations, and the devs also refined the Jbeam in order to perform more realistically. Speaking of Jbeams, both the Bijou 200BX and the ETK I series have received a better Jbeam. It's nice to see that the developers haven't completely abandoned these cars. The next feature may not be directly relevant for everyone, but for modders of the game it's a godsend. The Blender Jbeam editor. This is a plugin for the 3D modeling software Blender that allows modders to visually edit Jbeams. This saves them a lot of time, so you may see great vehicle mods for BeamNG more often from now on. I won't go into more detail about this, but if you want to learn more about it, check out the video linked above and in the description. Another prop that has been updated is the bale. Its materials were improved, and you can now stack multiple onto each other. And if this isn't satisfying, I don't know what is. Everyone who plays BeamNG with a steering wheel knows the pain. If the force feedback is set high, the steering wheel often starts to shake, even when the car is stationary. It was possible to fix this, but it took a lot of time and it usually felt too soft then. Luckily, this annoying bug is now mostly fixed. 0.30 has made the force feedback much smoother in general, and at least on my end, it feels fantastic now. Another small but very useful change is a new recovery system in scenarios. By pressing R, you don't just restart the mission like before, but you now get to this menu. Here you can either flip your vehicle upright again, the number of times you can use this feature is limited, but you can also reset the mission completely like before. We can also see the submit score button in some of the newly added scenarios, which will most likely submit your score for the BeamNG Discord event starting on September 25th. However, this feature does not seem to be working yet. The Vulkan API is a more advanced graphics renderer that is in the experimental stage. However, to play BeamNG in VR, you need to launch the game in Vulkan mode. Carkiller, the developer responsible for the Vulkan implementation, had this comparison between the normal renderer and Vulkan, and as you can see, Vulkan runs better by far. That's quite interesting because for many people, including me, it's the other way around at the moment. As stated here though, developers are working on a more stable version of the Vulkan API, which will hopefully run smoother and also implement new graphical features such as better anti-aliasing. Last but not least, the AI in some missions has been improved, and from what I noticed, it's now more aware of its surroundings. In summary, I'm honestly not sure what to think about this update. On one hand, the career mode is absolutely fantastic. The expansion of the West Coast map, the Aurata, and the new gear shifting logic are great. But considering that the developers have promised several major improvements and new features, this is yet another quite small update. We neither got multiple major improvements, nor more than one big new feature. If you're wondering why I'm not counting the career mode as a new feature, that's because it's more of an Easter egg than an officially announced feature. The update feels very rushed. For example, there's no grass on a new island, and Muya stated that content creators only received access to the update 2 days before the official release. Normally it's more than 2 weeks. Well, here's my theory. The developers just wanted to release this update earlier to add the scenarios for a Discord competition to the game. And we will get the rest of the content either in the next major update or in a patch for 0.30, likely if it's 0.24. Only time will tell what this missing content might be and whether it even exists. I hope that it will be the long-awaited tire thermals and beer, or maybe even rain and dynamic weather, since we can find this wet driving mode for the Civetta Scintilla in the game files. What do you think of this update though, and what features would you like to see in the game? Tell me in the comments down below.